but we don't want to be going this way with our chest cavity. Instead, we want this to be our arms swinging from our shoulders. So there's going to be a little bit of micro movement up here, but mostly it's below the waist. Like if you put your hands on your rib cage, you're going to see if you can move your hips individually underneath you. You should feel it twisting through your middle. Actually stand up even.
Oh, sorry, I'm watching.
You're watching. So yeah, so see if you can, I'm going to grab your hip bones here. So rather than back and forth, we're not going to bend our knees.
Okay.
I want you to swivel your hips while keeping your shoulders. So your shoulders stay nice and still. There you go.
Got it.
Yeah, that motion. Yes.
I recorded that.
Oh,
perfect.
Well,
I'm not going to record. I'll edit that part out. That too. That's going.
All right, put your hands on your rib cage instead, and then try to have your hips swivel without your rib cage moving. There you go. Yeah.
It doesn't move very far.
That's okay. That's okay. What to do first is I just want to get all of this is supposed to be doing. A little bit of stand up tall. Today we're going to talk about more what our upper body is doing. And then the third session we're going to take the two and do more of the full body. How does this all integrate? But it's really hard to think about too much at once. And so for the next couple weeks, I'm going to have you guys thinking about mostly your upper body once you've gotten your lower body stuff that worked on last time dialed in. Then we'll make the whole package come together on our last session. So a lot of upper body today, which actually won't take as long as the lower body stuff we did last time. So the form session today will be a little shorter, and then with only 4 or 5 of you, you know, we'll do our little individual sessions and get you on your way.
All right.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. And you don't have to have your phones today because Tim's
I
going
know.
to
Thank you
videotape
so much,
everything,
Tim.
which
You're
is
welcome.
great.
I'm going to start it now.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And I will process it and edit all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll like the walking this right now. I'm going to have you guys run no further than that little sign down there, and probably no further than this parked closed pole.
Okay. First
And I'll be catching you. First sign you see this right on my side,
the edge of the sidewalk.
poking out of the grass.
The curb.
Yes. And we'll probably do most of our work right here, so if you want to leave your water bottles right around here, that's fine.
Perfect.
And just do circles so I'll tell you to stop.
Okay.
Videotape people as they go by.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Circles. Crash. Spread out, spread out, spread out. You have a clean picture. Oh no.
make sure we have that all in our heads before we move on to talking about upper body. And so last time we met, we discussed what we just talked about with getting that hip motion going with our run as opposed to having the hips be super stagnant. We talked about lower legs having little to no effort, floppy puppy feet, nothing working below the knee, however the language works for you. We talked about a nice quick turnover so that we weren't reaching out ahead of our bodies, so a nice quick light step, quick and light, quick and light. Standing up tall with that string coming out the back of our head, which allows two things. I'm going to do this for the camera and then for you guys. As we get tired, our bodies usually do either this, where our butt goes back and we get a sag in our lower back, or our body does this. Or some people are especially talented and can somehow do both. I can't do both. FedEx is not coming this way. Okay. So what that does, that standing up tall, regardless if you're here or if you're here, the standing up tall pulls you into alignment if you have that feeling, and it automatically, your hips are able to swing under you if you're having the hips to the back issue, and obviously standing up tall, if you tend to start to slump as you get tired, the standing up tall forces you to stand up back tall into your alignment. So let's go ahead and just do another loop or two, practicing those elements, and I'll just be kind of calling them out as you guys do your loops. I probably won't videotape this.
On something for you so that we can get the sound, but oh no, that's where you were talking about the tripod.
The tripod. Next time.
I'll bring the tripod.
By the third session, we're going to have this down.
One upgrade at a time. Beta.
Yeah, this is a beta test. Okay,
I was
so
just trying to figure it out so it was easy for
Sure.
you, so you could focus
Well,
on us. But
I may
your voice.
I can't promise I'll get everybody on the video, but I'll at least say everything that you'll have it in audio, what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was like, gosh, even if it was stationary and we just had your voice, I'd rather have you
Yeah.
do what you're best at doing rather than filming.
You're saying I'm not best at filming?
I don't know what you're saying at
How
all.
do you know yet?
Did everyone notice that half of the videos were upside down that I took? Yeah. Figured out a way to turn them over, luckily.
I can
All
do
right.
that.
What?
I can do that.
Upside down?
No, I can turn them over.
Oh yeah, I figured it. My boyfriend found a program that helped me flip them over, because I was like, this is really irritating. I'm holding my laptop upside down, and he's like, you don't have to do that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start by just getting your arms up, just like we always start.
I feel like we should start in a line.
One after the other.
2 by 2, like
That would be good. Yeah. No, I think that would be good. I can then look at you more spread out. So Russ gets to go first because everyone else has stepped away from him.
Hey, I'm right if you need it.
So you're just, once Russ gets going, everyone's just going to follow, and just start by leaning from the ankles to get yourself going. And I want you to start by being nice and tall and turning your feet over nice and quick, and then start thinking about the hip motion. And then we'll add the rest of it. So go ahead and get started with that. Lean from the ankles, nice quick steps. Good, and get those hips to come around. Anyone else can go right after him. And actually it's better if you're on that side of the street too. There you go, nice quick steps, let those hips come around.
What's that? Run down on this side.
We're supposed to run against traffic.
There you go. Good. We're going to keep going, yeah.
I'll run the right way.
Again, nice quick steps. Snap those hips around like we were practicing in the parking lot. And now I want everyone to try to relax your lower legs. Everything below the knee goes away. Nice floppy ankles. Nothing working below the knee. Once you've got that nice and relaxed, go back to that hip snap. Can you get those hips to snap around for you?
Go back to what?
Hip snap. Get those hips to be snapping around. There you go. Good, Ashley. There's some good hip movement. Nice, Jen. Awesome. Good, Tim. I can tell you've been working on shorter strides. Nice and tall, Russ. That looks good. One more loop for me. Recheck that you're standing up nice and tall. There you go, Tim. Those hips are coming through, leading with your hip bones. Nice quick steps, and lower legs are completely relaxed. There you go. Sammy, hips are looking better. They're a little more under you. Russ, I'm so proud of how tall you are. So proud. Generally 4 weeks is where you hit that tipping point of it's tiring to do new form all the time, but going back to old form feels yucky. And you're kind of in that like, and that's good. When you get to that point, you know you're almost there, because then eventually you'll be running with good form all the time and you won't. But when you can feel what it feels like in the old form and you can feel it doesn't feel as good, that's awesome, because that means you finally started to change your muscle memory. We're not quite there. We've only been 3 weeks. So I can tell that everybody's been working on stuff and everything's looking better, and in the individual sessions we'll talk more about that. But I don't expect everyone to have this stuff dialed in quite yet, because we haven't had enough time. She's got the hip thing going though. Jen's got the hip
Well, you
stuff.
said like do it when you're washing dishes or whatever.
Yeah, it's,
so we've all then.
Yeah, I do it myself just to sort of, if I can.
Every time I do it though, I'm clenching a butt cheek.
You do have to use the glute a little bit, but think, could you pull with an ab, a set of ab muscles instead?
Okay.
Could you?
What are those?
Don't tell Amy.
I know.
She had me doing weird things.
Oh,
I
God.
got picked on for strengthening class for talking about activating my lower abs.
Oh, well, we're all in the same strength training track.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's right.
So when I do it, I notice that my abs are really sore from climbing the other day. So I know that's what I'm using to get my hips around, is this area right here, lower abs up into my obliques. Kind of pull those hips back and forth. And the more you do it, I think I mentioned this the other day, our tempo and our speed should really come from how fast can we snap our hips back and forth, as opposed to how far can we shoot our leg out in front of us, or even how fast can we turn our feet over. The foot turnover should be a result of how fast can we get our hips around, as opposed to how fast can we move our feet. So that was review of last week, what we were working on. Did I forget anything? Or did anyone have any questions from last week as you were working on stuff? Good.
Still, the like feeling of pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what I concentrated on.
Yeah. That's it's gonna feel different.
Yeah.
And I could tell that you're more upright. Jen's been working on getting herself more upright, and you're more upright. You can go further though, and you'll see in your videos that you can go further. I think it's the reason we're having multiple sessions is sometimes you work on this and you feel like you're like, I must be running like this.
I think I am.
And then you see yourself in the video and like you're upright, or you're even not quite upright. And so the video is a good thing to have when you're like, okay, what do I feel like, and what is the visual? What is actually going on? So what I'm telling you, Jen, you can come even more upright, not as a criticism, but so you know you're not too far yet. You're not. It may feel like you're doing this, and you're not yet.
Okay.
It is chilly. I thought it was gonna be like 75 degrees by now. Wow.
Welcome to fall.
What happened?
Although I'm looking forward to racing tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is the next session. You may find it only works to think about the lower half of your body and then think about the upper half of your body and kind of switch back and forth. If you can start to, on your own, think about it simultaneously, that's great, but I don't necessarily expect that right away, which is why we broke them into 2 different sessions. So our upper body, its main job is to support the lower body without overuse, without being overused. What we often do with our upper bodies is actually counterproductive to our running, and obviously not purposely. And that can be, we hunch because we get tired. Well, now we've got all this energy that's having to hold this part of us up. If I'm straight up and down, I'm resting on my skeletal structure, including my upper body is resting on my skeletal structure. As soon as I lean forward or lean back or thrust my chest out one direction or back or something, then gravity is pulling on that part of my body. And now I have to use muscle to hold it up, to keep gravity from pulling it further. So the more we're upright, and I think about the string comes out the top of your head and hangs your bones in a structure, and the rest of your body just hangs off your bone structure. That's where we're most imbalanced and where we have to use the least amount of energy. As soon as I lean, you can do it. Even if you lean from your ankles forward, immediately you can feel muscles tense up to keep you from falling on your face. Same thing happens if you just do upper body. You don't feel it as much, but the same principle is happening as gravity's pulling on you. So some of the things that we do are that we lose our posture, and then the muscles have to hold us up, as opposed to being balanced over our structure. The other thing we do is we tend to tense up, so that uses a lot of energy that we don't need. We'd rather use in our legs, but that tensing, whether it's shoulders up by your ears, whatever. Sometimes people hold their hands up here and actually have tense upper arms, or lower arms and upper arms, and all of that is just wasted energy that you could be using for running instead. Another thing that can happen is over-rotating in the upper body, and this is where I'm actually twisting my rib cage and my whole shoulder. I don't know if it's a shoulder girdle, but the whole shoulder structure, everything up here is moving. And that can happen, again, as we get tired and we're trying to put everything into it, right? And but this twisting motion, I'm sending energy one direction, then the other direction, I'm not actually getting it forward. And as much as I twist, it's not going to make my legs do anything, twisting back and forth like this. So what we're going to work on today is how relaxed can we get our upper body, make sure it's in good alignment, make sure it's relaxed, and then also what can our upper body do to help. So there are some muscle groups that we can start to call on that are going to help the running, mostly in our core and in our lats and our back, while keeping our arms relaxed, our shoulders down, and the rest of us in alignment. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to have you guys line up over here, and we're going to see where our chest is. And Tim is breathing's awfully fast. It doesn't take long to just do a couple breaths and kind of settle your chest back down and just go right back to your tempo or your race pace or whatever it is that you're doing. A lot of us, especially when we're doing speed work like 5Ks or tempo runs or intervals, we tend to want to lead with our chest and leave the rest of us behind, and then this puts us in this body position. So even though our hips were maybe right up until we started pushing it, as soon as we push our hips out, it changes your whole body form. So that's one thing to watch for, is to make sure that you're not leading yourself with your hips. Or we say lean from the ankles, and a really safe way to feel like you're leaning from your ankles is to go like this. I'm leaning, but
Guilty as charged.
if I'm not having to step forward, I'm not actually leaning from my ankles, right? If I actually lean from my ankles, eventually I'd have to step forward to catch myself. So think about that too. When we say lean from my ankles, am I going here because it feels safe, as opposed to the full body lean that we've discussed. So you can either both lean into each other if you have that much trust, or why don't you just put your hands up, this makes it feel safer. Or she can just lean into me, and then she can lean as far as she wants to, and I can support her as much as she wants to.
To like,
Yeah. Like you're gonna take a step.
right.
Yeah. Good. Yep. Yeah, that was good, Tim. Nice. Actually, if you guys want to step up so I can get you from the side when you start,
Oh, we are.
that would be awesome. Cool.
Just kidding.
Nice, Jen. Yeah, nice. Yep. And then just go again from there, from wherever you are.
Pausing is the funniest part.
And then Tim, I want you to do one from right in front of the camera here. I'm going to get you each one more time from in front of the camera. There you go. Yeah. And then Sammy, step up so that I can get you from the camera. So start from about right there, yeah. Cool, yes.
Land.
There you go. Yep, now you're in. And lean. Good. Yes.
See my head go forward though?
Not at first. You got the first initial lean. Thing, holding this.
You're actually come across very professional, I should say.
Holding the camera?
No, you're talking. Your
Right, if
explanation.
I'm not holding the camera. I'm holding the camera and I can't use my hands. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So, the foot scuff drill elongates that feeling of you're about to fall on your face that you're getting from our start. Remember having you lean and you have to step or you're going to fall on your face. We're getting that feeling of when we do want gravity pulling on us, as opposed to we don't want gravity pulling on part of our body to hold us up. We do want it pulling on our entire body if we're actually moving forward, because then that's the free speed that we've talked about. You've heard it through fast forward before. If gravity is pulling on my body in a straight line, then my feet just have to keep up. And that's the idea of that foot scuff drill that we've done before, is it gives you that sense of I'm just barely catching myself from falling on my face, but it continues that body lean drill and feeling. So when you're working on body lean and foot scuff on your own, those two go together really well. I'm not seeing a huge chest cavity issue with anybody as far as where it's being placed. Tim, you and I have already talked about it, and I think you've done a lot of work on it already. I'll probably keep watching for that
Good
today.
idea.
But it's looking better. In reality, people that don't generally have a automatic posture issue, it may show up when they start working harder. So if I were to watch you guys do 400s, we might discover that people do some funny stuff with their upper body as they start to get tired and they get and they're still pushing to finish their interval. That's going to be hard to do today. I'm not going to make you run intervals just to see if that happens. But the awareness is good to have. Am I doing something funny with my chest? Are my shoulders starting to come up? So speaking of shoulders, that's what we're going to talk about next. Once you have your chest down and where it belongs, you can do a shoulder shrug and let them drop down directly under your ears. Good, and then do that again. Just bring them up and let them drop down. Awesome. Yeah. So that's where we want our shoulders. We want them dropped as far as they can go, and you just let them go. And then I'm going to use Sammy for a demonstration over here. I want you to stand facing the camera.
Mom.
So you guys can see. Now I want you to do nothing with this shoulder, okay, and this arm. I'm going to do everything. Our arm swing should be so relaxed that it's like somebody else pushing your arm. So she's doing no work, and I just want her to feel what it feels like to have the arm rotate back and forth in the shoulder socket. I'm going to do this for each of you. Okay, and no muscle whatsoever. So when we're running, that's the feeling we want in our shoulder growth, is no effort. Our arms are just swinging back and forth. It's all momentum, just right from the shoulder. There you go. All right, relax entirely. There you go. See how loose that feels in the shoulder?
Yeah.
There should be no muscle, no effort whatsoever. There you go. And I'm doing it to let you feel how loose that particular joint is able to be. It really can have absolutely no sticking points if you just let it roll back and forth. Awesome. So that's ideally, when we're running, we want our shoulders to just swing back and forth from our shoulder socket, no effort. So we're going to do one more loop or two, and I want you to, this time, you're going to run, and if you want to slow down and do the lean again, you can, but the thing that I'm going to be looking for is I want you to do a chest check, and then I want you to do a shoulder shrug to see how, almost like how low can you get your shoulders, how long can you get your neck. All right, that's another way to think about it. If your shoulders are down, you're getting space and lift up the back of the neck. If that string's coming out the back of the neck, you're getting all this space in here between your shoulders and your ears, as opposed to if you're running up here.
That
You
equals
don't have-
oxygen.
Okay, Jen, you're up.
Okay.
Nice. There you go.
Weirdness.
Just chest and shoulders. Just thinking about chest and shoulders right now. There we go. Nice and relaxed. Awesome, Russ. Nice, Ashley. Nice, Tim. Awesome, Sammy.
Oh, there's a deer straight up the alley.
Oh, yeah.
He's just watching us.
Nice, Jeff. That looks good. Good, Russ. Russ, I want you to emphasize the shoulder swing just a little bit more for me. Just to emphasize how much rotation you can get as you continue to run back and forth. There you go. Nice. Tim, I'm going to have you emphasize the shoulder rotation as well. Just a little bit more. There you go. Good. All right. Nice. Russ, let me see you one more time. Down, shoulders down and relaxed. Arms, because we're talking about shoulders, I'm going to talk about arms, but arms are really secondary. I think of fundamentals, and then I think of what's secondary and what sort of icing on the cake. What our arms are doing are relatively secondary, icing on the cake. They're not going to make or break your race, but they certainly will help if we're doing the right thing as opposed to something that's less effective. So once our shoulders are relaxed, most of you, actually all of you for this drill, your arms were coming straight through, which is natural. If you're actually swinging from your shoulders, from a relaxed shoulder girth, you're going to have, your arms are naturally going to just want to come back and forth. You're not going to get too much of this. As soon as you start crossing over, it does take more muscle engagement up here to do that kind of crossover. That's not to say people do it all the time and don't realize it, but they don't realize they're using the muscle it takes to actually do this, as opposed to straight through. So 101 on arms is pretend that you're holding very fragile small bird's eggs in your hands. So we're not going to squeeze the heck out of them and break them, but we don't want to let go so much that they drop in the ground. So you've got relaxed hands, but a little bit of tension there just in your fingers, which helps tension in this part of your arm just to hold the 90 degrees. It doesn't take much, just a little bit there. It also keeps us from over gripping again and wasting energy. Or what can happen if we do this, some people run floppy hands, and it looks a little silly. Some people need it to help them remember to relax, and that's okay if that's a cue that they use. But it actually, if you do it for a whole marathon, it actually pulls on tendons and muscles in your arms and can actually cause soreness. So keeping a little bit of tension in your hands helps to just keep everything together and not get wrist issues or upper arm issues. And then you hear through fast forward 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. There's nothing wrong with 90 degrees. However, it can make people feel a little bit tight and a little bit tense. So form-wise, there's nothing wrong with dropping your hands down and running at a slightly greater than 90 degree angle. In fact, when I'm working on my hip motion and I have you guys do that fist to hip, that's not just a drill that I do sometimes. If I know I'm not getting the hip motion I want, I make sure I bring my hands down, which helps me think of that relaxing my shoulders if I drop my hands just a little. Head is doing up here. Again, similar to leading with our chest, when we're starting to feel effort and we're starting to reach for speed somewhere. We push with our chest, and we sometimes can push with our head. We can sometimes really get our head out there. And I think all of you have done this with me before, but we're going to do it again. Your head to be in alignment with the rest of you, and so that we're not spending a lot of effort in our neck area or our shoulders holding it up. You want to take your finger, your pinky finger and your thumb, put it on your clavicle, and reach up with your pointer finger, and that's about where your chin belongs. It's right there. Another thing is your fist under your chin should fit just about like that, and it does mean that your chin is down just a little bit.
It feels very different, actually. Like you said, clavicle, you mean your collarbone?
Yeah. Is it different for you? Maybe you have a long neck.
And then when I do this,
A long neck.
Oh, yeah.
Never
It's
mind.
Very different for me.
Mine's
Is
very
it?
different too. If I do this,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Are you squishing your? Maybe
Yeah, if you do the fist, I'm coming down a little
You're
bit.
coming
whereas-
down a lot. Maybe
Wait.
I'm describing it poorly. Yeah, I guess if you were gonna, I might have done it this way. I might have done it this way before. That might be a little bit.
Maybe it's Russ. We all need Russ's fist.
Huh?
We need Russ's fist.
Yeah.
Russ, can you come over here?
except
Alright.
this doesn't work.
We'll do
Yeah, no.
fingers then,
Too
because
heavy, Russ.
I liked what everyone looked like here. This looked good.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So as long as your chin is in alignment, feel like you're looking straight forward. All right. And so, harder to check while you're running without sticking your finger up your nose. But something to think about maybe on a walk break, if you got your water in and you're thinking, you're like, okay, where is my head? And just kind of doing a little bit of a, all right, that's where it belongs. This is going to be more of a muscle memory thing, something you can't quite check while you're running, especially if you're running hard. But that's where the head is, and that's the background of why it's there. If you stick it out, and actually everyone do that. If you stick your neck forward, immediately you should feel how tight,
Oh, yeah.
how tense everything gets down the back of your neck and into your shoulders. And I have seen somebody who runs back here and kind of slides their head back, and again, you're gonna feel it's gonna feel weird. I don't imagine that's comfortable. But again, I had this one guy who it was a chore to get him to bring his head forward to be in line. Most common is this, so that's something to check for. What do I want to do with ragdoll? We'll do that next time. We will do ragdoll, and then that's the last thing we'll do today. It starts to approach bringing everything together, but I think it's important to talk about relaxation. Did we do ragdoll last time we got together too?
No.
Okay, I couldn't remember if we had or not. So ragdoll, again, I think most of you have seen or heard me talk about this. It's a way to bring relaxation to your body, especially in the places that you don't know are tense. It's one thing if you start to feel back here, you're getting tense, maybe you can do some shoulder rolls, or you can, bring your head back and you're like, okay, that helped. But a lot of times, especially in a race situation or a long run situation, we're tense in places that we don't realize it. We don't even know it's there. So ragdoll it looks silly, but you're going to drop mostly your arms to emphasize to your body, and we're just going to flop along like you'd imagine a ragdoll would actually run. And you're going to do that for about 10-15 paces, and then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your arms back up into good run form and have that motion of your elbows coming back up be the cue to get back into good run form while keeping as much of that relaxed feeling that you got from the ragdoll as possible. So I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like, and then have you guys just do it a bunch, doing our circle and just stop and try ragdoll and get going. A lot of people have told me they like doing ragdoll coming out of their walk breaks because you're already walking, so it's a nice way to kind of reset for that next 5-minute run interval or 10-minute run interval. So you're at least starting in a relaxed place. But even if you're running, you can just drop your arms and go into ragdoll and then pull yourself back together if you're wondering if there's tension there. So Tim, I'm just going to run past you with some ragdoll here. So starting with my arms, especially starting from stopped, is probably the easiest way to do it at first. Arms down, shoulders down, I'm in alignment. I'm going to lean from my ankles, and then I'm just going to flop along. Alright, so that's ragdoll, and this time I'm going to pull it together. So again, shoulder shrug, arms down, lean from my ankles, a little bit of foot scuff, because a ragdoll doesn't pick their feet up. And then it works well.
My legs are getting really stiff.
There you go, nice. Yeah, flop, 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 flop. You can be even looser in the arms, Sammy, next time. There you go. Nice, just let them flop along.
I just want to say I think this is how I run the whole time.
Nice, Ashley. Nice, Tim. That looks really good. Chest can still come back a little bit. Nice, Russ. Head can slide back just a touch. Nice, Ashley. That's looking really good. Good. So Jen, you can come even more upright. Keep tucking those hips and keep coming more upright. Yep, like that. There you go. Good. And Sammy, same. Let's go ahead and do some individual stuff real quick. And Tim is kind enough to volunteer to videotape for everybody but his session.
I'm a Cancer.
So the big thing that I'm going to have you do is we're just going to run, mostly trying to stay as much in front of Tim as we can because that's going to be the most useful footage.
Okay.
And the biggest thing I'm going to have you work on is tucking your pelvis even further and bringing your chest back even further. And it's going to feel like you're running like this. And right now you're straight up and down.
That hurts so incredibly bad to stand like this.
Where does it hurt?
I'm just clenched
Okay.
everywhere.
Can you relax what's clenched without having your body shift?
Okay, just relax.
Okay, good. Check your butt. Is your butt squishy?
A little bit.
A little bit?
She just asked if my butt was squishy.
It's all recorded.
I know, this is good. This is straight up and down. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to have you run this direction, lean from the ankles,
Okay.
and try to keep that straight line. Yep. Alright, and bring those hip bones forward. There you go, yes. Here we go. Spin around. Don't let your arm pass through the leg. Tuck those hips forward just a little bit more.
Really?
Yep. Good. That looks good, Jen.
Turn it around.
Spin it around. A little more tuck. A little more tuck. There you go. Think about sliding your chest back. Turn it around here. Slide the chest back. Forward again. Good. And lean.
Oh, I didn't like it.
Tuck the hips under. Yes, good. Right there. And then you're going to wheel it around and emphasize that hip mode. We're working on getting this forward. It looks better than last week or last time we met, so I know you're working on it. I'm just giving you the feedback that, and you'll see on the video, that you're not here. It feels like it, but you're
I'm
not.
like, really? Really?
Yep. So I just want you to have that visual and know when you're running, gosh, even though it feels like I'm way back here, I'm not. I think it's good that you mentioned that you're clenching
Yeah.
to try to get your hips where they belong. And so finding a way to, can that be here? Can that be abs holding your hips forward?
Okay.
And more of a balance motion of the upper body, of getting the upper body to balance over the hips rather than feeling like you're holding everything in a straight line. With the new form, there's always going to be a little bit of, wow, this makes me tired, because you won't be able to do good form, new form, and then be entirely relaxed at the same time. The new form takes effort, takes muscle clenching and tensing, and generally as we're running, let me be on this side. So even when we loop around, I'm always going to be on this side, so I have just you and the camera, and I'm not getting in the way of the camera. Okay. Hips are good. They've come way farther forward than they have been. There's still a tendency, I think, for you to step out just a little bit more than you need to. When we were doing the lean from the ankles, it looked really good. Upper body is looking pretty good. I think you can move your shoulders, let your shoulders swing just a little bit more. So what I want to do first is have you start from here, do the forward lean, go into a little bit of a foot step drill, and then we'll run from there. I'll add stuff to it. Let's start there. That posture is perfect. You're just going to lean it from the ankles. There you go. Let your shoulders swing. Relax shoulders. Let them swing even more. Just like a little bit. There you go. Do a little bit of a foot step for me. Upper body down. There you go. Move it around here. A little bit more foot step. And then back to regular run. Here you go. Good. That stride length is good. Go around here. Shorten the stride up just a little bit. There you go. One more time. Wheel it around. This time I want you to think about moving your hips. A little more hip motion, keeping your stride short. There you go. That's really good, Ashley, right there. One more time. And come back past Tim doing exactly that. That was great. Get the hips smooth. Yes. Awesome. All right. So when you look at the video, hopefully it picked up where I was like, yes, that's what we're looking for. Hips are in a much better place. I think you think hard, a little bit maybe too hard about keeping your shoulders down so much that then they're like tense down and you don't actually get a lot of arm swing.
It just hurts my shoulder.
Oh, it hurts your shoulder. Okay.
It's not that I'm thinking about it, it's just that when I move it a lot,
It hurts. Oh, okay. Make sure you guys let me know when something like that happens. It's pretty good. Is that a chronic?
No, not this side. This side is, but this
Okay.
side is new.
It's new.
I have an MRI in a couple weeks.
All right. Well, don't do anything that's going to irritate it. So
Okay.
if you need to hold them a little bit more still to keep it from hurting, totally
Okay.
understand. Hopefully once we fix it,
Right.
you'll be able to just swing it naturally and it'll feel comfortable. And then with the lower body, it's definitely looking a lot better. You're getting the hip motion. That sometimes emphasizes the leg coming out a little bit further. So then what you're going to work on is getting the hip motion, but then having the foot still land directly underneath you. Because you've got this nice short stride until I ask you to think about the hips. And then as soon as you move the hips more, which is natural, the stride gets a little longer. So having you sort of focus on those two things simultaneously will be really good to make sure that one isn't compromising the other. But upper body generally looks great. Chest is in a good place, head's in a good place. To start with, the same old, you're way more upright. Your posture's looking great. Your head is still forward. It's a little bit forward from where I want it to be. So, that's good. And then, not that far back, like that here is probably good.
Okay.
Sometimes your head ends up being out. Until you're pulling your shoulders back, it can move your head out. So that's one thing that just, if you're ever feeling it back here, you can think about, can I slide my head back? Can I slide my head back without it feeling tense? Can I slide my head back?
Okay.
That was just one thing I noticed today watching you is, now I'm noticing your head because the rest of you is so upright and your head's forward. So think about bringing that back.
Okay.
When you get some hip motion, it looks really good. It's really nice and loose. let's start with that. So let's start with just, you're going to get yourself in a good upward body position. You're going to lean forward, and then I want you to get those hips moving. And then we'll get the shoulders swinging a little bit more too. So go ahead and lean when you're ready. Good. Bring it around there. Now I really want you to let those shoulders relax and swing from the shoulder socket. There you go. That looks better. Being good hip rotations. Swing around here. Nice short strides. Good. Slide your head back just a little bit for me. That is good here. Alright, swing it around there. A little more forward lean. If you can, maybe do a foot scuff drill for me to get your body out over your feet. There you go. Spin it around, do the foot scuff drill. Back, and then we're going to stop the foot scuff drill as you pass the camera. There you go. Okay, good. One more time back, and I want you to think about taking your head and sliding it back. Not up, back. There you go. That's better. Run past him like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's sometimes when I say head back, you do this. So I want you to think about taking you're sliding your jaw back.
Okay.
So your head sliding back like this. And it can go with the string up the back of the neck. When I am doing this for the camera, but then for you as well, when the string comes out the back of my head, it pulls me up nice and tall and keeps my head back and in line. As opposed to if my head's out here and I pull on that string,
Right.
it pulls my head back into line with my spine.
Okay.
Hip motion's looking better. We can still do more. Once you get those hips moving in a way that feels fairly natural, I think it'll put a little bit more of a spring in your step, which is better than last time already, but I think we'll just have you keep working on that. And upper body looks good as far as chest is good, shoulders are down, posture's looking really good. I can tell you've been working on it. Is it almost natural?
The one thing you showed us last time was the pushing from the lower back, and that seems to kind of force me to get everything else in line.
Get everything up in line.
It's just
Good.
an easy thing.
Good.
To do.
Yeah, but I even, when we were coming up behind you in the run today, when you were running with Alicia,
Pushing.
you were upright before you knew we were back there, I think. Maybe you knew we were coming.
I saw other people and I suspected you were coming.
Well, anyway, I was impressed. For a good several...
Believe me, it's just a guess.
Just
Just
yes.
a guess.
Yes. That is a lot of what we're going to work on. Upper body looked pretty good, so let's start with focusing on the hips. I will check out the upper body while you're thinking about the hips and give you some feedback on that. But I think upper body wise, what you've done today is looking good. You don't tend to, well, you have the chest out because you have the hips back. As like a balancing act, basically. So I think if you can think about tucking your hips under, it will bring this back in naturally. You're gonna feel like when you get your hips where they belong, you're gonna feel like your back's in the C curve like this. You're gonna feel like you must be doing this. It's gonna feel like this, but when you see yourself on camera, it's actually gonna be a straight line.
So just think about these just pushing forward.
Let's try that for now. So get yourself in a line. Good, and then lean from the ankles. Nice. And spin it around there. Pass your hips even further forward for me and really keep them rotating through. There you go. Nice. That looks better. It feels really good. Alright, spin it around here. Pass those hips under. Bring those hips through. Good. Alright, spin it around one more time. You're going to have you do a foot scuff drill now, keeping your body where it's at. So your hips are forward. Yep. There you go. And then go back to a regular run, spin it around. Regular run, but thinking where are your feet landing. There you go. Okay, one more time. Do a shoulder shrug for me. Let those shoulders actually swing through this time. So everything we talked about, and then the
weird.
I know, it's gonna feel weird. Do you feel like your back's in the C curve?
No, I feel like
You feel like you're
my
pushing
hips
forward?
are here, and the rest of me is just following along behind.
They can guarantee, and once you see the video, that's not what's going on. But, you know, that's
That's
good for you to
awesome.
know that you feel like this, and you're going to be able to see visually you're actually getting more upright. I could have you tuck even more, so we're going to keep working on it. But
Whoa, okay.
I want you to take that feeling of like, gosh, this feels really strange, and keep using that for your form, your big form priority.
Love it.
Shoulders, when you think about it, you can get them to move more. In line, body lined up, nice. And we can slide the chest back even just a little bit more back this way, push into the shoulder tight for me. Shoulder tight, nice and loose. Good. Perfect. Okay. Go ahead and lean from there and get going. There you go. That looks better. Go ahead and slide the chest back if you can. Get out your shoulders. Leave your shoulders relaxed. Your shoulders hurt for me. There you go. Spin around here one more time. Good. Let your shoulders swing just a little bit more. Hanging out of your shoulder sockets. There you go. Yeah, there we go, Tim. Spin it around there. Good. Now I want you to do a foot scuff drill. And by foot scuff, actually, hold on here for just a minute. So by foot scuff, I want you to be like, it's almost like you're jamming your toe. As your foot comes through, you're jamming your toe into the ground so that your foot's stopping. So think about kicking your foot into the ground with each step. Yeah. Turn it around here. Same thing. I want you to do a foot scuff because your feet are starting to come out of the groove behind you. I want you to do a foot scuff drill to keep your feet behind you. There you go. And back to a regular run. Think about engaging the backs of your legs like we did last time. Really pulling back through your legs. There you go. Spin it around. Alright, same thing. Pull back with those legs. Think about the backs of your upper legs coming back. And your feet are relaxed along for the ride. Alright, spin it around there. One more time back past the camera. There you go. Bring those hips through for me. Let the foot just drop from the hip. There you go. And then one more time, relaxing everything below the knee. Everything below the knee. There you go. Running with your hips. Your hips are littered. What I'm seeing, I think what you're going to see on the video is when you focus on moving your hips, you start to bend and pick up your feet in the back. I think that when you're thinking about driving your hips through, you're thinking about making that circle with your foot.
Okay.
Which is why I kept emphasizing relax the lower leg, relax the lower leg. Because you'll see in the video when you're at the beginning, you're not doing this funny thing with your feet. And then at the end, you started to do that. And I think the foot scuff drill, also you're sort of thinking about kicking your foot up. So I think the two things that I want you to really focus on is, for one, the upper body is looking better, a lot better. So I think that's good. Keep thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about with that. And then I want you to marry the hip moving with a relaxed lower leg. So the hip comes through and the whole leg just drops underneath you. And especially when we're running as slow as we are here, that foot just peels up behind you and swings forward and drops. It doesn't come up, it's not really picked up. There's nothing that happens with the foot behind us, but this part of the leg does push back. You know, when we were laying on the ground and I said, okay, push with the back of your knee or the back of your quad, back of your hamstring into my hand. There is that motion.
So like this.
Yeah.
not this.
Right, right. At the back, like almost like you're kicking in water. If you're doing a flutter kick, your feet would be
Okay.
straight, your legs would be straight. So it's at this motion as opposed to this motion.
Got it.
So I want you to actually do one more back and forth. Really focusing on that. Try to get those feet down. There we go. Yeah, there we go, Tim. Okay, swing it around there. Come on.